Tonight on UCentral News. New today, the United States is vetoing a resolution by the United Nations calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. What we know at this hour. Next, tourism in Oklahoma has grown exponentially over the last 2 years. What's causing the influx of tourists? In social media, the Beatles are set to get documentaries made about the group's members. Shanice Hopkins has more about the biopics on John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And finally tonight, wrestling got a statement win over the weekend to secure another conference title. Ian Nickel has the highlights of the Broncos' undefeated season.
Live from Central Oklahoma, this is UCentral News.
Good evening, I'm Georgia Jones.
And I'm Mark Lowe. Welcome to this edition of UCentral News.
According to Missouri prosecutors, 2 men have been charged with murder in last week's shooting that killed 1 person and injured 22 others after a Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Officials say Dominic Miller and Lindell Mays are charged with second-degree murder and other counts and have been hospitalized since the shooting. The 2 men did not know each other before the shooting. They were, among others, arguing when Mays pulled his gun, causing several others to do the same. According to police, Miller's gun was the one that shot and killed a woman. Authorities say they will continue to try and, quote, hold every shooter accountable for their actions on that day.
Today, the United States vetoed an Arab-backed UN resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. The resolution was widely supported in the United Nations, but the United States representatives say it would interfere with negotiations on a deal to free hostages abducted in Israel. This has been the 3rd U.S. veto of a Security Council ceasefire resolution, and it has come a day after the U.S. proposed a rival resolution that supported a temporary ceasefire in Gaza, which would call for the release of all hostages and lifting all restrictions of delivery of humanitarian aid. Today's vetoed proposition would have demanded an immediate ceasefire from all parties, which implies an end to the war.
Ukraine is running low on weapons and ammunition as it defends its country from the Russian invasion. One reason for the lack of supplies? Congress's inability to pass an aid package. John Lawrence reports.
President Joe Biden says the U.S. can't turn its back on Ukraine and its war against Russia.
And the idea that now, when they're running out of ammunition, we walk away, I find it absurd. I find it unethical.
The Senate passed a $95 billion foreign aid bill last week, with $60 billion earmarked for Ukraine.
We are counting on this positive decision of the Congress. For us, this package is vital.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer released a statement Sunday demanding that House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Republicans pass the funding bill following the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
We must show Putin that he must pay a price for the death of Navalny. And the best price the U.S. can make Putin pay is to give Ukraine the help they need to fend off Putin's evil aggressions.
Johnson and others in the GOP have issues with the bill, saying it lacks provisions for migrants trying to enter the U.S.
The number one national security issue facing America today is our insecure, unsafe, and wide open southern border.
Schumer posting on social media, the bill is, quote, sitting on Speaker Johnson's desk while Putin waits to see if the U.S. will act. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
All right, well, in weather for February, it's pretty warm. Like, it's about 75 outside.
Insatiably warm. I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt all day today, and it feels like summer. I'm definitely ready for it. We're now going to go to Gwyneth Duncan for our first look at weather. Gwyneth?
Thank you, and good afternoon, Broncos. Looking outside today, we were sitting mostly sunny with that 75-degree weather outside. I know it felt really nice compared to the last couple of weeks that we've been having, but those winds were not making it feel so pleasant, sitting south at 17 miles per hour with gusts as high as 28 miles per hour. I know today I was out walking and I got hit by a few of those gusts, and you guys may have felt it too. Our humidity is sitting at 22%, and it does feel exactly like it is out there today despite those winds coming in so high. As we look at our weather headlines up ahead, we did have a fire weather hazard today, and it is going to last through Wednesday just because of those high winds that are coming in from the south. Temperatures are starting to feel more like spring, just like the groundhog predicted. So those temperatures are going to feel a lot nicer, and I'm really excited for that. And we do have mostly sunny skies ahead with only part clouds moving in from the sun. And that's all I have for you guys right now. I'll have your 7-day forecast and much more later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Gwyneth. I definitely did get hit by a few gusts of wind. It was pretty crazy out there earlier.
Yeah, when I left this morning, it was 32 and really windy, and now it's 75 and extra windy.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's pretty Oklahoma weather. Well, speaking of Oklahoma, an Oklahoma woman is about to turn 100 years old, but it's really only her 25th birthday. Mary Forsyth was born on February 29th, 1924, on Leap Day. Since leap years only come around every 4 years, she will technically celebrate her 25th birthday this year. The party got started a little early with this community gathering. During non-leap years, people like Mary usually celebrate their birthday on either February 28th or March 1st. History.com reports only about 5 million people worldwide have a leap day birthday.
Tourism in Oklahoma has spiked over the last year to become the third largest industry in the state. I sat down with recently appointed Secretary of Tourism, Shelley Zumwalt, to see what's bringing people to Oklahoma.
Over the last 2 years, Oklahoma has seen a spike in people moving to the state. A number that runs right alongside is tourism numbers. While everyone comes to Oklahoma for different reasons, recently appointed Secretary of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, Shelley Zumwalt, says it's because Oklahoma has a rare quality.
We've got the opportunity in our state that you can be in Oklahoma City and just drive 15 minutes out and see the stars, and in more densely populated states, that doesn't really happen. And so we've got something that you can have a major city, top 20 in the nation for population, but also have that feeling like you're out in the middle of nowhere. And that is really unique to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is unique in many ways, but one that sparks the interest of many international tourists is Route 66. Running from Chicago to Santa Monica, Oklahoma has the most miles of the route in the state, and because of that, special focus has been put on how to keep tourists engaged with everything Oklahoma has to offer.
And one of our focuses is how do we, from the point they enter in Oklahoma to where they get out 40, make them stay as long as we can, to get off the route, stay the night, deposit their dollars at the restaurants, the museums, the sites that we have put along the route, and make sure that we are giving them the best experience they could have on Route 66. So when they go back home, whether to Poland or Germany or Australia, they're saying, you've got to go to Oklahoma.
Part of the spike, according to Secretary Zumwalt, is also thanks in part to the COVID pandemic, which has seen more people start to prioritize outdoor activities in their lifestyle. In order to accommodate the need that is being seen in the parks, the state began to prioritize the tourism industry, and it's now the third largest in the state. Secretary Zumwalt says that promoting Oklahoma state parks will only boost the economy for the state and bring income to rural communities just outside some of the parks.
What we're trying to overcome is the fact that there has not been really a marketing campaign to educate the public about our state parks in a really long time. And I'm sure there was decisions for that or whatnot, but when we're looking at how can we make a major impact and lower tax dollars for people and really provide economic impact to those rural areas, where we need to focus and where we need to invest our time is how do we maximize those state parks so that the economic impact that's generated from them is felt in those rural communities and we can really make a difference.
Whether it's swimming at Grand Lake or hiking the Wichita Mountains, or whether you're a tourist or a local, the saying stays the same. There's always something to discover in Oklahoma. For UCentral News, I'm Mark Lowe.
UCO is hosting their annual Black Girl Magic Conference this Black History Month. A celebration of unity among African American women will happen tomorrow at 9 a.m. The Inclusive Community Student Hub will be hosting. The event will feature keynote speaker Kalisha Lewis, who is the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for Tinker Federal Credit Union. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required.
Registration for UCO's big event is now open on UCore. The big event, which is slated for Saturday, April 6th, is a student-led day of community service. Students give back to the Edmond and OKC community through many different ways, such as trash pickup, yard work, and other light labor activities. Big event participants typically range anywhere from 600 to 800 students serving at over 100 locations. You can sign up on UCore until 11:59 on Friday, March 15th to be a part of this year's big event. And if you do plan on doing that, I know spring is still a little bit of ways on the calendar, but it is definitely feeling like it out there.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll want to keep an eye on the weather, especially with the fluctuating temperatures.
Sure.
Gwyneth Duncan will have more after this break.
Happy birthday! Make a wish.
Miss you guys.
Blue skies smiling at me, talking about blue skies. Do I see bluebirds singing a song, talking about blue skies from now on?
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Are you really sure this is all going to fit?
Oh, it'll fit.
I got that. All right.
When hauling anything, ensure it's secure. Losing your load is dangerous for all drivers. We want everyone to make it home safe. Help make Oklahoma safe by securing your load.
Welcome back, Broncos. And looking outside today, it was mostly sunny like I mentioned earlier, with those 75-degree temperatures and those winds coming in really high. Across the state, we're looking at about the same. The state is really high today. We're looking at those nice temperatures aside from those winds just coming in from the south and really hitting us hard. As we go into tonight, our cool temperature tonight is going to be sitting at 47 degrees, and those skies are going to clear out a bit more, and that wind is changing from south to southeast at 10 miles per hour. So it'll still be windy at night, but not as bad as it was today. Our humidity is staying at 22%, and across the state, we're looking at about the same. Up in Guyman, we're looking at 37, and then down in McAllister, we're looking at 54. So just across the state, it's feeling pretty nice tonight. It's not too bad, except for up in the Panhandle. As we go and look ahead today, we do have fire weather hazard conditions these next couple of days just because of those winds and because of those high temperatures that have started to come in, especially since the sun is going to start being out a lot more these next couple of days. Our temperatures are starting to feel like spring, like I just mentioned, and we do have mostly sunny skies ahead. As we look at tomorrow across the state, it's feeling a lot warmer. We're sitting at 78 degrees in OKC, and it's feeling pretty nice out there today. We're sitting as high as 80 degrees in Tulsa today, so it's pretty nice outside. And as we go into our daily forecast in the metro, at 7 a.m. it's going to be cool with those clouds kind of sitting over the sun for a while, sitting at 48 degrees. As we move into noon, it's going to be 78 degrees with those winds starting to come in a bit more. We are not going to be escaping those winds tomorrow, so we're still going to have windy weather tomorrow, but then at night it's going to clear out a bit more. We're not going to see those clouds as much, and we're going to be sitting at 70 degrees at 7 p.m., which is a really nice temperature compared to what we've been having. As we go into our 7-day forecast, tomorrow we're looking at 77 degrees, and as you can see, the nights for all ahead, we're not getting below freezing, so it's going to feel really nice these next couple of days, and the sun is going to be out, so it's going to feel a lot better. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so ready for the heat to start rolling in. How do you guys feel about that?
Absolutely. I'm very ready for the weather to warm back up. It's a little weird compared to February. Like this time last year, I was pulling my car out of an ice storm, and now we're in fire hazards, and
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's fun.
I guess that groundhog was right, Punxsutawney Phil,
Yes,
right,
yes.
about the spring coming early, because look at those temperatures, 70 degrees for the next
81
week. Yeah,
in
what's
Tulsa?
going on? It's February.
I know.
Gosh, that's crazy. Well, thank you, Gwyneth. Coming up, you'll find out which artist will be at this year's Fortnite Festival.
In which movie had negative reviews on opening weekend? Shanice Hopkins has your social media report after the break.
I was raised to believe in the power of possibility, to always move forward but never forget where I came from, to value hard work, ingenuity, and hospitality. On one hand, my people are rough and rugged. On the other, refined and elegant. They taught me how to love beautiful things and cherish my past, to seek out adventure, eat well, and to have a good time. So I keep their traditions alive every place I go. They call me Oklahoma City, but you can call me the modern frontier.
UCentral News as a whole, you got to be in those different areas, like being on camera, being off camera, being in the control room. And so I feel like that is what prepared me most about being in the workplace.
UCentral and the mass comm department has provided me all the tools and the fundamentals that are needed in order to thrive well and thrive fast at my job.
Maybe it's time to hit the road and visit a place where stories unfold. This is the land of the ultimate road trip, with sights old and new on Route 66. There's fun to be had, so much to do, and a few new surprises before you get through. Oklahoma has the most miles to share of Route 66. It's really quite rare. TravelOK.com will show you the way. Come see for yourself this iconic highway.
Trending on social media today, 5 years ago, Lady Gaga posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, "What's Fortnite?" Today, she reposted correcting her spelling as the video game platform Fortnite announced that she will be performing at the Fortnite Festival. When it launches its second season this Thursday, select songs by Lady Gaga will be available in-game. And Netflix released the first trailer for Irish Wish, starring Lindsay Lohan, Ed Spielers, and Aisha Curry. Irish Wish tells the story of Maddie, who is played by Lohan, who finds out that the love of her life has been engaged to her best friend. This rom-com is set to premiere March 15th, and it looks like Lohan is getting her long-deserved acting comeback. And One Love, the biopic of the famous music artist Bob Marley, has seen its first opening weekend after its February 14th release, and reviews have not been positive. AP film critic Jake Coyle says that the film was noble, but an uninspired attempt to capture some of the essence of Marley. He commended actor Ben Kingsley Adair for his vocal portrayal of Marley, but he said that there is a certain power and complexity that was out of touch. Along with his music, the biopic portrays Marley's communal side while reflecting on the disasters in his home country of Jamaica. Coyle rated the film 2 stars out of 4. Speaking of movies, Sony announced Monday that a series of biopics are in production for the world-famous band The Beatles. Director Sam Mendes said that there will be 4 films from the perspective of each member of the band, Paul, George, Ringo, and John. While a specific release date has yet to be released, Sony has a set target date for 2027. The members of the families of the band will officially given permission for the project, which means a majority of their hit songs will be available for use in the movies. Mendes says, "I'm honored to be telling the story of the greatest rock band of all time and excited to challenge the notion of what constitutes a trip to the movies." And that's all I have for you guys today. Mark, Georgia, tell me, how are we feeling about 4 separate Beatles movies coming out?
It sounds really exciting. I grew up with the Beatles, so I'm super excited to see the movies when they come out. I hope they're not spread out over the year. I hope it's 4 at once, but
yeah, absolutely.
That's wishful thinking.
Absolutely. I grew up on old music like that. The Eagles were originally one of my favorite bands, and now it's the Beatles. Yeah. But still really great. I'm still a huge Beatles fan. I literally have a flag hanging up in my room of them. It's just great. Really excited to see that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Shanice. Coming up, UCO Wrestling had 2 big wins this weekend.
And the Bronco hockey team faced off against the Sooners this weekend. Find out how they did after the break.
Keep
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Everybody, it was a big weekend for Bronco Wrestling. The defending champions got their toughest competition to date on Friday. The defending national champions went on the road to face then number 6 Nebraska Kearney in a matchup that would more than likely determine who wins the MIAA Conference Championship. Kearney got off to a fast start, winning 3 of the first 3 matches, but the Broncos stormed back and won 6 of the last 7 to nab a 20-13 victory in Loperland. The following day, they traveled to the wonderful town of Hays, Kansas, where Central Oklahoma delivered a goose egg to Fort Hays, shutting the Tigers down 47-0. This clinched the Broncos the MIAA Conference Championship, and they'll continue their season in Indianapolis on Saturday, March 2nd. On the ice, the UCO Bronco hockey team was back at it this past weekend as they took on their in-state rival, the Oklahoma Sooners. The Broncos swept the weekend series with the Sooners by winning by scores of 5-1 on Friday and 7-1 on Saturday. This clinched the Broncos' 3rd straight WCHL Division Championship, and we will wait to see who they play in the ACHA hockey tournament. That'll be announced about March 2nd, I think, but stand by for that. The UCO Broncos women's golf team just wrapped up their first tournament of the 2024 calendar year in Houston, Texas for the Southern Invite Tournament. The Broncos finished 60 strokes over par as a team, which is good enough for 11th and good enough for me, honestly. I'm not that great at golf. Julia Garcia of Dallas Baptist won the Invite with a score of 6 under par. The Dallas Baptist Patriots actually finished with the top 3 overall individually. UCO's Micah Ramos was the highest Bronco to finish at tied for 24th. The Lady Broncos' next golf tournament will be March 4th and 5th right here in Edmond at the Kicking Bird Golf Club for the Diffie/Lincoln Invite. And finally, for the pro wrestling fans out there, All Elite Wrestling, or AEW, will be making their Tulsa debut tomorrow at the BOK Center. This is just the 2nd time the pro wrestling company has been to Oklahoma, as they made their Oklahoma City debut last December. The show is a part of the road to AEW's first pay-per-view of the year, Revolution, which will feature legendary wrestler Sting in the last match of his career. AEW Dynamite will be airing live tomorrow at 7 p.m. on TBS, immediately followed by AEW Rampage, which will be taped right after Dynamite, but will air on Friday at 9 p.m. on TNT. I'll be making the trip myself down to the 918, and I'm hoping some more Broncos will show up there too. Guys, that's all I have for sports. Georgia and Mark, back to you two at the desk.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for that, Ian, and definitely have a safe trip up there. AEW is a up-and-coming wrestling franchise rivaling WWE. A lot of the old former WWE superstars are over in AEW or AEW right now, Sting being one of them. So yeah, really great thing that they're doing up in Tulsa. Hope it goes well.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up after the break, Jen Sullivan explains why now is the time to book a cruise.
And Gwyneth Duncan will have your last look at weather.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Does the winter weather have you dreaming of getting away? Now is a great time to book a cruise and score some big deals. Jen Sullivan has the story.
Wave season is the time of year when the entire cruise industry goes on sale.
Wave season starts in January and runs through the beginning of March. You don't need to travel right now to score the deals. Travel expert Emily Kaufman says you can book a cruise all the way through 2025. You just need to book the trip now. So, what kind of deals are we seeing?
They've got added value offers with things like 2-for-1 sailing, cabin category upgrades, credits to be used on board.
From river cruises to luxury ships, anywhere around the world, this is the time to score discounts. Right now, Norwegian Cruise Lines is offering a 2-for-1 deal. That's on many of their cruises, even the European destinations. They're also offering a savings of $1,000 for free third or fourth guests on select dates. Royal Caribbean Cruises boast up to $700 off, plus 60% off a second guest, and kids sail for free. MSC is offering 40% off and up to $400 onboard credit, but that deal only lasts until February 20th. Kaufman says cruises are a great way for families to save.
For one price, you get your accommodations, your meals, your activities on board.
If you are booking for a future trip, keep in mind that prices will be even cheaper if you book during an off-season time. And of course, you do have to factor in flights if you have to fly to the port city where the cruise departs from. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And I'm actually about to go on a cruise in June. It's my first time going on a cruise, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, with that weather outside right now, I feel like it's cruise season.
Absolutely.
70 degrees is crazy. We're going to go to Gwyneth Duncan for our last look at weather. Gwyneth?
Thank you. And looking at tomorrow's forecast just really quickly again, we're starting off cool. It's going to get windy at noon, and then at 7 p.m. it's going to clear out, but those winds are still going to remain. But tomorrow's feeling a lot hotter than it was today, and that's all I have for you guys today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Gwyneth. Sounds like another short and t-shirt day for me.
Yep, absolutely. It's probably going to be another beanie and gloves in the morning and t-shirt and no jacket by midday for me too.
Well, there you go. That is unfortunately all the time we have for today's edition of UCentral News. But for now, I'm Mark Lowe.
I'm Georgia Jones. Have a great evening.